April 23rd, Sam Walton.
The choices we make today yield the consequences we face tomorrow. 74-year-old Sam Walton lay in bed fighting for his life. I blew it, he thought, as he sighed deeply in his hospital bed. In the background, a cardiac monitor beeped in a mostly steady rhythm. It had only been weeks since President George W. Bush had flown to Walton's home and presented him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Walton's career accomplishments ranked high, but now, alone with his thoughts, Walton came face to face with his own mortality. For more than a week, Sam had been in the hospital, surrounded by medical devices and a conscientious medical staff. It mattered little to any of them that this titan of business had founded the Wal-Mart retail chain and expanded it to become one of the largest companies and employers in history. Without warning, illness had reduced Walton to the very human and humble state of completely relying on others. Suddenly, the treasured moments of his family and friends who stopped in to offer a smile, a hug, or a prayer, these became more valuable than anything else he had ever accomplished in life. In the chilling stillness when he was alone, Walton thought about the steep price he had paid to become one of the world's wealthiest men. He hardly knew his youngest son, who had spent a lifetime neglecting his own family and was privately in a marriage with a woman who had only decided to stay with him out of principle. How had he let this tragedy happen? On April 5th, 1992, medical staff called Sam's family. It didn't look like Sam was going to make it. This would be Walton's last day in the hospital and his final day on earth. As his closest family filed solemnly into his room, Sam's friends and business associates gathered prayerfully in the waiting room nearby. Hospital staff silently made their way in and out of the room, intently monitoring Sam's declining condition. His family held hands and prayed, and the tempo of the beeping heart monitor slowed. Then the room fell silent. Everyone gathered around his hospital bed. Sam struggled to whisper his last three words. I blew it. In Mark 8:36, God's word tells us, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul?" Take a moment and consider what you would like your last words to be. Are you living a life that will allow you to say those last words when the time comes? Are you willing to pray and ask God to show you what needs to change in your life today and give you His strength to change? The choices we make today yield the consequences we face tomorrow.
Hello, man. My name is Blake Maddox, and I'm the Executive Director of 365 Christian Men. Today is April 23rd, and our story is about Sam Walton. Most of us would know him as the founder of Wal-Mart and an incredibly successful businessman. But the end of his life was filled with regrets. And I wonder if it wouldn't be wise for us to think about the end of our lives before we get there. Some said that the last three words that he ever spoke were, I blew it. I've certainly said that many times in my life because I've done it many times in my life. You know, I often wonder if life would have been different in many ways had I made many different decisions. And the answer to that question is certainly yes. So my challenge for you and I today is, if we were planning our funeral today, what would we want people to remember about us? It's likely it wouldn't be our fame or success or anything that we saved or acquired, but really the value of the relationships that we built, developed, and maintained. And so my challenge today is, let's not finish life saying I blew it. Maybe you've said it before like I have, and we can check that box, but let's really proactively think about how we can finish strong, whether that's 10 years, 20 years, or 40 or 50 years down the road. My challenge is, how will I finish strong?